Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Our first story features the world's worst parents ever. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Mom complains and sues us. Once a week, we offer a special pony riding program. The deal is you can check out the first time for free. Afterwards, you pay what you can afford and want to afford up to 10 euros. If you can only pay 2 euros, it's fine. We won't judge you. Our offer is designed for families in need, and we get lots of kids every week. The only thing is the parents and their kid have to clean their pony together, and we choose the ponies for the kids. We know our animals pretty darn well and don't want to abuse them either. So we have a young mom and her probably husband getting there and asking if it's really free. We inform her of our offer and she's totally in for it. Her kid's 2 or 3 years old and has never been on horseback, which is understandable. So I hand her a brown, very small pony, tell her it's perfect for beginners. She completely freaks out and asks why her kid can't ride the 140-centimeter tall white pony next to her. I tell her that a slow pony is always better for newbies, and if her kid has more experience, we can consider it. I realize her husband carries another young child on his shoulders, and while I help out the family with the white pony next to them with a hoof cleaning, the situation gets tense. The mom and her husband suddenly put both the kids on the white pony without any saddle on. None of the kids is wearing a helmet. I was holding the hoof to clean it, so I didn't notice at first. When I looked up, I was in shock. I got mad and asked them to put their kids down immediately. Tell them what they do is dangerous. They get mad at me and complain, but my kid deserves to ride that big pony. My kid doesn't need scum like slow ponies. The family next to me supports me and tells me to get their kids off. They refuse. The kids lose their balance and the pony starts bucking to get them off. Both kids fall to the ground and we had to call an ambulance because they didn't wear a helmet. They tried to sue our place and left bad reviews at Google. When the ambulance arrived, they were both in tears, and when I asked them if that was really necessary, the mom was still trying to blame me for not fulfilling her request. Also tried to tell her that this wouldn't have happened with the pony I was planning to give them. She just said, "Shut up, you don't know anything about horses." It's a good thing there was another family to witness this. And our second story. Coworkers not doing their part, boss caught in the middle. This was some years ago when I worked for a small restaurant. I started out as a dishwasher and eventually moved to cook/prep cook, ended up working there for a couple years. There came a point where during the busy summer months, as a dishwasher still, I'd be busting my butt to make sure everything ran as smooth as possible throughout the restaurant. I'd help the servers with their tables, I'd of course clear tables as much as possible, I'd help the kitchen staff restock things as needed, and so on. The dishes, of course, were the job, but only so far as we could stretch things before closing time, after which the remaining dishes and any other things that needed doing throughout the restaurant would get taken care of. Sometimes this took some time to complete when the restaurant was super busy and things backed up really bad throughout the place. The thing is, though, that while there are customers, serving the customers food to them is the priority. So when push comes to shove, the thing that falls behind the most is always the dishes. My job. This led to a string of days, more than a week, where I was stuck at the restaurant an hour or more after close, just getting all the dishes clean for the next day. One day was particularly bad when I was there until 1 a.m. several hours after close. This was partly because it'd been a really busy day, but also some customers staying late and so on. My boss told me the next day, "I've noticed you've been closing later and later, and yesterday you closed way past midnight. What's the deal? I need you to close faster." I explained to her how the dishwashing took second to the priority of serving people food, so the kitchen staff always got my help when they needed it, and the serving staff always got my help when they needed it too. However, at the end of the night, when the last customer left, the servers would finish resetting the tables, and the kitchen staff would finish restocking things for the next morning, and naturally, the cleaning that needed doing all around would happen. But then everyone else left, and I was stuck there washing dishes on my own with nobody helping me. "Well, that's your job. You should be able to handle it." Yes, but I help them do their jobs, so at the end of the day, when they're finished, they should help me with mine. Or else I'm going to be here longer, and that's just how it is. "All right, well, I need you to leave earlier, so figure it out." I did figure it out. The next day, as my manager liked to call it, we were slamma-jamma, crazy busy. Dishes were even more backed up than ever before. At closing time, I told the serving staff and kitchen staff that I needed some help cleaning this up because the manager wanted me out of there earlier. They said, "Well, you can manage," and off they went. I decided I'd had enough. I left about 45 minutes worth of dishes uncleaned and took off at the appropriate time I was supposed to be done by. The next morning, the kitchen staff were quite upset because they obviously didn't have things all finished and had to do some extra work to get it clean. My manager called me into the office to have a talk when I arrived later that day. "So you left early and left a bunch of stuff dirty in the dish pit. Is this going to be a problem?" "You told me to leave on time. I did the best I could. The options were stay later or leave on time and leave some dirty dishes behind for the morning staff to clean. You can't get those dishes done in that much time?" "The dishwasher has a limited capacity, so that's the limit for some dishes. But pots and pans, things the kitchen uses most, can be hand-washed more easily. The same is true for some of the serving staff stuff. In fact, a lot of that has to be hand-washed regardless. Here's what happens. First, the front end gets slammed, then the kitchen gets slammed, making the orders for all those customers. Then the customers leave, and the serving staff do their thing, and the kitchen staff starts to catch up. Then the kitchen gets caught up, and the serving staff starts heading home. Then the kitchen staff heads home, and it's just me in the back still dealing with the original big slam of customers we had earlier in the day. Here's what I can do. I can refuse to help them and 100% focus on making sure dishes are done. That may mean you need to have more serving staff come in to handle the load since I won't be helping. That also might mean you need to have more line cooks or prep cooks stay longer to make sure the kitchen is kept up to pace through the busiest hours. If I'm just sticking to clearing tables and washing dishes, I can keep up and maintain everything fine." "Okay, well, do that." The rest of the restaurant didn't last a day before they were demanding my help during their rush times, clearly upset, and it was only a day after that that the manager instructed them they needed to help me with washing dishes and we'd all leave together at the end of the night. They finally started to understand when they tried to help me get those dishes done. It changed everything. I, of course, returned the favor, and all was well. Not long after that, I moved over to handling prep work, slicing and dicing and all that kind of thing. I also started handling food deliveries and so on. It was nice, and I got paid more, but I found out pretty quick that the faster I did my job, the less I got paid. Unlike with dishes, there was a bit more fixed amount of work to do, so I was happy to help the dishwashers. I got so fast at one point that in the middle of the summer rush days, I'd just hang out in the dish pit, and the dishwasher would have it so easy. The manager tried to have me do both dishwashing and prep work, because otherwise I lost too many hours, but that's another story. And our last story. I arrested Karen one day. So I live in a small town in Michigan in the middle of nowhere, and our police force is very small, currently 10 active duty police officers. And I only recently started my job as a police officer. I'm mostly stationed east side of the city, but I grew up west side. Not many people recognize me here, so I come across a lot of Karens who don't know I'm a cop when I'm off duty or undercover. We get a lot of them near the end of the month in and around our shopping mall, so even in my off hours, I spend some time down there just in case there's an emergency. This one day, I was doing some gift shopping for my friend's birthday when I heard a commotion at the front of the store. It didn't seem too major, but I decided I'd been shopping long enough and was curious anyway, so I made my way over to pay when I saw Karen in a heated debate with one of the young employees working there. I set myself up in the checkout behind her and kept my hand near my phone in case I needed to text my on-duty friend. Karen: "I don't understand how stupid you can be. Did you even graduate high school? I have these coupons that cover that, and this is 50% off, so therefore my total should be this, and not that." Employee: "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I told you that coupon is expired, and even with those coupons that aren't expired, you can't use two on the same purchase." Karen: "I demand to see your manager." Employee: "I'm sorry, she's out at the moment. If you'd like to wait for her, I can hold your items for you." "This is unacceptable. I have places to be. Just give me this for free." "I'm sorry, I can't do that." "Then get me an older employee who can." At this point, the woman had gone from yelling to screaming and had thrown her coupons at the cashier. Me: "Ma'am, please calm down. She's just a teenager and throwing things is just plain childish." "You don't talk to me that way, missy. Mind your own damn business." I shrugged and closed my mouth, but I told myself if she did anything more aggressive, I'd pull out my badge. They kept at this back and forth for a while, the Karen demanding the same thing and the girl apologizing and repeating her answer, and when finally the woman realized she wasn't getting what she wanted, she grabbed her bags and sprinted for the door. I waited for her to cross the security rails, and as they went off, I caught up to her in a few seconds. She was a very slow, portly woman, and tackled her to the ground. After reading Karen her rights, I called my buddy and he came to arrest her, getting the camera footage from the target and even bringing me down to help him fill out paperwork. Karen was charged $500 for petty thievery and was banned from the store permanently. That must have been such a nice moment for the poor teenager, seeing such a rude customer being tackled. Nice one. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.